Hi there, I'd like to tell you about a Christmas tradition that I have. Every year I read Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, story of Scrooge who thought that Christmas and everything that goes with it was humbug. Dickens has got an absolutely lovely description of him. Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone. Scrooge, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner, hard and sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck out generous fire, secret and self-contained and solitary as an oyster. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shrivelled his cheeks, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red, his thin lips blue, and spoke out shrewdly in his grating voice. What was going on the inside was obviously reflected on the outside. The story begins with Scrooge in his counting house on Christmas Eve, a cold, dark, dismal winter's day. Scrooge in one room, his clerk Bob Cratchit in an adjoining room, which was even colder than Scrooge's. But poor Bob was scared to try to replenish his fire because Scrooge kept the coal in his office, and asking for more coal risked his dismissal. First, Scrooge is greeted by his cheery nephew, who bounces him and wishes him a Merry Christmas. Bah! Humbug! Scrooge replies, and after an altercation, he bounces out of the office still as cheery as when he arrived, and nevertheless he leaves Scrooge with an invitation to dinner the next day. Then Scrooge is visited by two portly gentlemen asking for a donation to their charity, which was seeking to provide for the poor over Christmas. Well, they're left with a piece of Scrooge's mind, but sadly no money. Scrooge goes home and is visited by the ghost of his long-dead business partner, Jacob Marley, who was a man just like himself. He appears bound with chains and dragging cash boxes, and he helps Scrooge to see what he has become and the consequences unless he changes. Scrooge is then visited by the spirits of Christmas past, present, and yet to come, and they help Scrooge to see how his love of money has gripped his soul and made him a despicable, mean-spirited man who others shun and risks shattering himself forever in misery and torment. The opening of the story is very dark, reflecting Scrooge's character, but light breaks in when Scrooge faces up to what he has become and resolves to change. Transformed by the end of the story, we see Scrooge on Christmas Day, fully entering into the spirit of Christmas, anonymously sending a whopping turkey round to his poor clerk. He goes to church. He then surprises his nephew when he turns up for dinner. The transformed, enlightened Scrooge surprises his poor clerk Bob Cratchit, who turns up late for work on Boxing Day. But then Scrooge surprises him by promising a big pay rise, and saying that he will help to provide for his large family. Celebrating Christmas is not humbug for me. I look forward to celebrating the birth of Jesus, of whom the Bible says, the one who is the true light, who gives light to everyone, was going to come into the world. The enemy of our soul has a mission, and that's to enslave us in darkness in our innermost being, darkness of mind, darkness of understanding, darkness that blots out hope. Jesus said of himself, I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't be stumbling through the darkness, because you will have the light that leads to life. The thief's purpose, Jesus said, is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give life in all its fullness. Whoever believes in him, John says, will have everlasting life. Jesus came to deliver us from darkness and give us light and life. For that, I'm eternally thankful. Dickens' story of Ebenezer Scrooge is fiction. The story of the Bible is not. It's true, it's real, and life-changing for all who come to know the babe born in a manger. And in the words with which Scrooge concludes Christmas Carol, God bless us everyone.